Right. So get ready, because today we're diving into something uh, a bit different.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We're going to be talking about something pretty fascinating. And maybe, just maybe, a little taboo.
Ooh, I like Taboo.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Okay, well, it's about sexual magnetism in astrology.
Okay. All right, I'm listening. I'm ready.
Okay, so we're working with some source material here from an astrologer named Lorenzo. And let me tell you, this guy, he does not hold back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's got this really, really direct style.
Mm.
You know, some might even call it brutally honest.
Oh, I like brutally honest.
Okay, good.
Good.
Lay it on me.
Because some of his insights, well, they might surprise you.
I am so ready to be surprised. Hit me.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay, so,
Lorenzo, he sounds like my kind of guy. You know,
Yeah.
he just cuts right through all that, like, fluffy astro stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Gets straight to the point.
absolutely. And with a topic like sexual magnetism, I mean, come on, it's about time somebody just lays it all out there, right?
Right.
So what kind of stuff does he get into?
Well, he goes into some really, really fascinating territory. Like, for example, he's got this, he calls it the quote-unquote ghost effect.
The ghost effect.
Yeah, have you ever had those people, you know, those people that kind of linger in your mind long after the relationship is over?
Oh, tell me about it. Yeah, I've had a few ghosts in my past for sure
Right.
haunt me.
So he talks about that. And that's not all. He actually talks about like how your birth chart is like this energy frequency
Okay.
that other people subconsciously pick up on.
That's juicy. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we're all sending out these vibes.
Right.
And some people, they just tune right into yours.
Oh, exactly.
It's like a cosmic connection.
Right.
Okay, I am officially intrigued. Where does Lorenzo even start with this whole magnetism thing?
Well, you know, one of the first things he kind of tackles is this whole popular idea that Scorpios are just, you know,
Oh, here we go. The Scorpio stereotype.
right,
Yeah.
automatically magnetic.
I mean, I get it. They've got that intense, mysterious vibe.
Right.
But is it really all it's cracked up to be?
Right. And he actually points that out. He says just because you're a Scorpio sun, moon, or rising, you know, doesn't mean you're some kind of walking sex magnet.
Interesting.
Yeah. He even mentions that you know, Scorpios, if they've got kind of a weak Mars or Venus placement, they might express their magnetism more emotionally than physically.
Okay, so it's not just about being a Scorpio. It's about how those Scorpio vibes are actually playing out in the chart.
Exactly.
You've got to look at the whole picture, right?
You have to look at the whole picture.
The whole enchilada.
Right. You can't just assume, you know.
No cookie cutter astrology here.
Right.
All right, so what does make someone magnetic then? Spill the tea, Lorenzo. What are we looking for?
Well, when it comes to like really, really strong indicators
Yeah.
of strong sexual magnetism, he actually puts a lot of emphasis on Pluto aspects.
Yeah.
Especially when those aspects involve like Venus and Mars.
Pluto, okay, planet of power, transformation, all those deep, intense kind of things.
Right?
Yeah, I can see how that would tie into magnetism.
Right.
Especially when you're talking about Venus and Mars, you know, those planets that are all about desire and how we go after what we want.
Exactly. Exactly. And he actually gives some pretty compelling examples. Like he suggests that like someone with Venus conjuncts Pluto, for instance, you know, they might find themselves drawn to like really passionate, even obsessive kind of relationships.
Oh, yeah, those Pluto vibes can definitely add a whole layer of intensity. Like, it's not just love, it's like a life or death kind of thing.
Oh, exactly.
Passion to the extreme.
Yeah.
I've seen it. All right, so Pluto aspects, they can definitely turn up the heat, make things more magnetic. But what about specific placements? Like, does Lorenzo say anything about particular placements that just give you that can't take my eyes off you kind of vibe?
You know, he does. He talks about people with Mars in the first house. And he describes them as having this like undeniable, you know,
Undeniable what?
aura. Like he uses the phrase, I exist, therefore I attract.
Whoa.
Right.
Okay, I'm picturing someone like just walking into a room and all eyes are on them.
Right.
They don't even have to try. It's just there. That raw Martian energy, boom.
Yeah. And he also mentions that Mars-Pluto aspects can create a very similar effect.
Okay, so like a double dose of that intense driven energy.
Yes.
Makes sense. What does he say about Mars-Pluto? What kind of vibe do they have?
He describes it as dangerously sexy.
Oh, dangerously sexy.
Right.
Okay. Like alluring and intimidating all at the same time.
Exactly. Exactly.
I like it. All right, so we've got Pluto aspects, Mars in the first, Mars-Pluto connections, all pretty intense stuff. But what about the more hidden side of attraction? Does Lorenzo talk about that at all?
He does. He mentions this really, really intriguing concept of a quote-unquote subconscious attraction zone.
Subconscious attraction zone. Okay, you're going to have to elaborate on that one.
Right, well, he's talking about the 12th house.
The 12th house. Ah, yes. The house of secrets, dreams, all the things that are hidden beneath the surface.
Right.
I can see how that would tie into attraction, those things we're drawn to but can't quite explain.
Exactly. And he actually suggests that planets, especially like Venus and Mars, in the 12th house, they can create this kind of like invisible pull that other people can't really explain.
So it's less about like overt displays of attraction and more about this kind of subtle, maybe even psychic connection.
Right.
Okay, I'm getting chills over here. Give me an example. What kind of stuff does he say about planets in the 12th?
Well, he gives some really, really wild examples. Like he says that someone with Venus in the 12th house might find that, people dream about them for years after meeting them.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like their energy just lingers.
That's trippy.
Right.
It's like you leave this imprint on someone's soul. They can't shake you, even if they tried. All right, so what about someone else's planets falling into your 12th house? Does that mean anything?
Well, according to Lorenzo, it could mean that that they're kind of subconsciously obsessed with you, even if they don't really realize it.
Oh, okay. So there's like this hidden connection going on beneath the surface.
Right, yeah.
Drawing you together. Woo! I like it. I like it. Okay, but this is all getting pretty deep, pretty fast. I gotta ask. If attraction goes beyond what we see on the surface, if it even goes beyond these obvious planetary placements, what else is there? Like, does Lorenzo talk about anything beyond just physical appearance?
He does. He actually makes this point that attraction goes way, way beyond just how somebody looks.
Okay.
And he uses this example. He talks about someone with strong Mercury-Neptune aspects.
Okay.
And he says that they might have this, like, hypnotic voice.
A hypnotic voice.
That draws people in, regardless of how they look.
Oh, I totally believe that. Some people, they just have this way of speaking.
Yeah.
It's like music. It just draws you in. Right. And it makes sense, if we're thinking about the birth chart as this energy frequency.
Right.
Some people, they just broadcast a signal it's just more alluring.
Right.
It might not be something you can even pinpoint visually, Yeah. It could be their voice, their laugh, the way they move, even their scent,
Right.
It's just something about them that pulls you in.
It's intangible.
Exactly. Intangible. Okay, this is all incredibly fascinating, but I gotta ask. Is there a downside to this whole magnetism thing? If you're attracting people on a subconscious level, could that ever backfire?
Well, that's a great question, and it is something that Lorenzo addresses directly. He warns that, this intense magnetism can sometimes actually attract unwanted attention.
Unwanted attention, like what?
Like obsession, even what he calls energy vampires.
Energy vampires. Yeah. Okay, we're getting into some spooky territory now.
Right. And those are people who, they kind of just drain you emotionally and spiritually.
Okay, so it's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
On the one hand, you've got this power to attract, but on the other hand, you got to be careful who you're attracting.
Exactly.
What kind of energy you're putting out there.
Right. You don't want to be attracting the wrong kind of attention.
No.
Or, getting caught up in relationships that are just ultimately draining or toxic.
Exactly. You got to protect your energy.
Yeah.
So what does Lorenzo say we can do about that?
Well, his advice is to be mindful of the energy that you're projecting.
Okay.
And to set really, really clear boundaries to protect yourself from those who might try to take advantage of your, magnetism.
Boundaries are key.
Yes. And he really emphasizes that understanding, your own birth chart is really key to understanding how you attract and how to manage those who are drawn to you.
It's like having a user manual for your own magnetism.
Exactly.
Okay, this has been incredibly insightful so far. I'm already rethinking everything I thought I knew about attraction.
Yeah, and I think it's only going to get deeper from here.
Oh, I can't wait. Bring on the next layer of this cosmic onion.
We've only just scratched the surface of Lorenzo's perspective. There's still so much more to uncover.
Yeah, it's like we think we know what attraction is all about,
Right.
but then you dive into this stuff and you're like, whoa, there's a whole other level to this.
There's so much more going on.
It's like we're not just picking partners based on looks or personality. There's this whole energetic dance happening beneath the surface.
Right. And Lorenzo, he's like the choreographer. He's showing us the steps.
I love that analogy. The cosmic choreography of attraction. So we've talked about Pluto, Mars, Venus,
Right.
all those heavy hitters.
Yeah.
What about other planets? Like, what about the moon? Does Lorenzo mention that at all when it comes to magnetism?
You know, he does. He actually suggests that a strong moon in the chart can actually kind of diminish that raw sexual magnetism.
Really?
Yeah. It's not what you expect, right?
No, not at all. I mean, the moon's all about emotions, feelings, that deep nurturing energy. I would have thought that would make someone more magnetic, not less.
Well, he says that people with, prominent moon placements,
Mm-hmm.
especially in like those sensitive signs like Cancer or Pisces,
Mm-hmm.
if they don't have like strong Mars or Pluto aspects,
Yeah.
they tend to attract people more on an emotional level.
Okay, so it's like their magnetism is operating on a different frequency.
Exactly.
It's more about that soul connection,
Right.
that deep emotional bond,
Right.
rather than that raw, like, I gotta have you kind of energy.
Exactly. It's more about nurturing.
Got it. So it's not that people with strong moon placements aren't attractive. They
Yeah.
just attract a different kind of energy.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. You know, Lorenzo seems like the type of astrologer who just lays it all out there.
Yeah, he does.
No sugarcoating.
No.
So does he, like, just come right out and say which placements make someone undeniably magnetic?
He does. He says if you have strong Pluto, Mars, or Venus aspects
Mm-hmm.
to your ascendant,
Mm-hmm.
you are sexually magnetic, period.
Boom. Straight to the point.
Yeah.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
Right.
You've got those aspects, people are going to feel it.
Right. He says people just feel drawn to you on an instinctive level.
Like moths to a flame.
Yeah, you radiate this energy,
Mm-hmm.
and they can't
Oh.
help but respond to it.
Okay, but what about those of us who don't have those aspects? Does that mean we're doomed to a life of unattractiveness?
No, not necessarily. He does acknowledge that even without, those classic magnetic placements, you can still be incredibly attractive.
Okay, good. There's hope for us yet.
Yeah. It's just your magnetism might stem from other qualities. It could be your intelligence, your humor, your kindness, your confidence.
Oh, so it's about recognizing that magnetism comes in many forms.
Exactly.
It's not just about that raw sexual energy.
Right.
It's about the unique blend of qualities that makes you you.
Exactly. And he's also very careful to point out that even, having like strong Scorpio placements, sun, moon, or rising,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't automatically make you, sexually irresistible.
Okay, so the Scorpio stereotype debunked.
Right. He says that, without the support of those powerful Mars or Pluto aspects,
Okay.
that Scorpio energy might manifest, as depth and mystery and intensity,
Mm-hmm.
but not necessarily in a way that screams sex magnet.
All right, so we've debunked the myth of the Scorpio sex god or goddess.
Right.
It's more nuanced than that.
Yes.
But knowing Lorenzo, he doesn't just stop there, right? He digs deeper, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah. He gets into some really interesting territory talking about those subtle ways that these energies play out, in our lives.
Okay, give me an example. What kind of stuff does he get into?
Well, for instance, he really emphasizes the importance of the unseen factor.
The unseen factor?
Yeah, your aura.
Oh, okay. That energetic field that surrounds us.
Right.
You can't measure it, but you can definitely feel it.
Exactly. It's something that everyone feels, but you can't,
It's like that vibe you get from someone.
Right.
You can walk into a room and instantly feel drawn to someone or repelled by someone.
Exactly.
And it's not always about how they look.
Right. And he says that houses actually played a more significant role than signs when it comes to this unseen magnetism.
No, that's interesting. So it's not just about what sign a planet's in.
Right.
It's about the house it's in.
Right. He uses the example of a Scorpio Venus in the 3rd house versus a Taurus Venus in the 8th house.
Okay, two very different expressions of Venus.
Very different. Yeah. And he argues that that the Scorpio Venus, they might be flirty and witty, and incredibly seductive with their words,
Mm-hmm.
but they might not necessarily be a sex bomb in the traditional sense.
Whereas the Taurus Venus in the 8th, they might be more silent and magnetic.
Right.
drawing people in with their eyes, with their aura. They don't even have to say a word. It's like that energy is just oozing out of them.
Right, and then he brings up this really, really intriguing point about Mars or Pluto in the 12th house.
Okay, back to that subconscious attraction zone.
Right.
What does he say about those placements? Because I gotta admit, those always make me a little nervous.
He actually calls it the most dangerous placement.
Dangerous.
For sexual energy.
Why dangerous?
Because it's hidden. People feel it, but they can't explain why they're so drawn to you.
It's like that magnetic force that operates below the radar, influencing people on a subconscious level.
Right, and he gives some captivating examples. Like he mentions that that Mars in the 12th house can create like a silent sexual dominance.
Silent sexual dominance. Okay, now that's a phrase I haven't heard before. What does that even mean?
Right, well, he says that people just kind of project their fantasies onto you without you even, having to do anything.
Oh, I see. So it's like you become a blank canvas for their desires.
Right, you become this screen onto which they project their
deepest fantasies and longings.
Yeah.
Wow, that's powerful. What about Venus in the 12th?
He says that people with this placement might find that, others dream about them for years after meeting them.
Wow, it's like you haunt their dreams.
Yeah, their energy just kind of lingers in the subconscious.
It's giving me Romeo and Juliet vibes, like that kind of love that transcends time and space.
Right.
Okay, and Pluto in the 12th.
He says that that Pluto in the 12th house, people with this placement might, make others feel kind of possessed by them, but those people,
they can't explain why.
they can't quite put their finger on why.
It's like this magnetic force that's operating on a deep psychological level,
Right.
bypassing the conscious mind altogether.
Right. And Lorenzo doesn't just limit, his analysis to planets and houses. No,
Sure.
he actually delves into the power of the voice as a tool of attraction.
The voice. Okay, I've never thought about that before.
Yeah.
What does he say about the voice?
He emphasizes the role of Mercury-Neptune, particularly when they form aspects to each other.
Okay.
And he claims that Mercury-Neptune aspects can create a voice that's almost hypnotic, like capable of melting hearts with just a few words.
Oh, I can definitely see that. Some people, they just have that way of speaking.
Right.
It's like silk. It just wraps around you.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mercury-Neptune, hypnotic voices. Does he get into specifics? Like, are there any particular Mercury placements that he associates with an alluring voice?
He actually does give some examples of specific Mercury placements.
Wow.
He suggests that Mercury in Scorpio, in Capricorn, or in Taurus tend to produce deep, slow, and commanding voices.
Okay, so those earthy, fixed signs,
Yeah.
they give the voice a certain gravitas.
Right. That are naturally,
Yeah,
sassy.
that Barry White effect,
Yeah.
deep, resonant, and oh so seductive.
Yeah.
What about other Mercury aspects?
He says that Venus aspecting Mercury can create this sweet, seductive voice that's incredibly appealing. Even if the person isn't conventionally attractive.
It's that classic combination of beauty and brains, right?
Yeah.
They can charm you with their words just as easily as with their looks. All right, so we've got sweet and seductive voices, deep and commanding voices. What about the more, forbidden side of vocal magnetism?
Well, he doesn't shy away from that either. He brings up the Lilith factor, specifically true Lilith.
Ah, Lilith, the ultimate rebel, the one who breaks the rules and embraces her shadow self.
Right.
Okay, so how does Lilith play into the voice?
Well, he says that that true Lilith conjunct the ascendant, sun, moon, or Mars can create this powerful aura of forbidden attraction. Making people crave what they shouldn't.
Like that forbidden fruit effect.
Right, exactly.
We're wired to want what we can't have.
Right. And he also mentions Lilith's influence in the 8th house.
Okay, the house of sex, death, and transformation.
Yeah.
What does he say about Lilith in the 8th?
He suggests that that people with Lilith in the 8th house might find that others project their deepest,
Their most secret desires?
their most secret desires. Yeah.
Onto them.
Yeah. Almost as if they become a living embodiment of those desires.
It's like they become a walking, talking taboo.
Right.
And people can't resist. Okay, so it's not just about the voice itself.
Right.
It's about the energy that underlies it.
Exactly. That raw, untamed energy that Lilith represents.
All right, so we've got Lilith, the 8th house, all those forbidden vibes. What about Lilith-Pluto aspects? Those got to be pretty intense when it comes to the voice, right?
Oh, yeah. He describes those individuals as having an almost, supernatural ability to just to amplify the sexual tension in any room that they enter.
Whoa, like they walk in and the temperature just goes up 10 degrees.
Right. Yeah. It's like they radiate this raw primal energy that's both captivating and unsettling.
Okay, but as we talked about before, intense magnetism, it's not always a good thing.
Right.
So does Lorenzo talk about the potential downsides of having a super magnetic voice?
He does acknowledge that a very, very, alluring voice, especially when it's combined with certain placements like Lilith or Pluto,
Okay.
can attract, unwanted attention, obsession,
Right.
even what he calls stalkers.
Yikes. So a captivating voice can be a powerful tool for connection, but it's important to be mindful of the energy you're projecting.
Exactly.
And the potential consequences.
Right. It's about owning your power, and using it wisely.
Exactly. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about planets, signs, houses, even the voice.
Right.
But I'm curious, does Lorenzo ever talk about specific aspect patterns? Like, are there certain combinations of aspects that create a predisposition for either sexual dominance or just irresistible attraction?
He does. He introduces this concept of the triangle of power.
The triangle of power. Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it involves Pluto, Mars, Venus aspects forming a grand trine or kite.
Oh, wow. Those are some potent configurations. What does he say about people with these patterns?
He claims that individuals with these patterns possess effortless dominance and just an abundance of sexual energy.
Okay, so their magnetism is just woven into their astrological DNA. They effortlessly draw people in.
Right, without even trying.
It's like they were born with a cosmic advantage in the realm of attraction.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so triangle of power, got it. Any other aspect patterns he mentions?
He talks about the forbidden love aspects.
Oh, forbidden love aspect.
Yeah, those involve hard aspects between Venus and Pluto.
So the squares and the oppositions.
Right. Yeah, and he suggests that these aspects create this irresistible pull, even if the relationship is ultimately toxic, or destructive.
It's that classic, I know I should stay away, but I just can't help myself dynamic.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, those relationships are definitely a lesson in boundaries.
And self-awareness.
Yeah, and self-awareness.
Oh, yeah. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Okay, so we've got triangle of power, forbidden love aspects. Any others?
He also mentions Venus-Neptune aspects, which he associates with, idealization and that intoxicating, you're my soulmate kind of energy.
Oh, yeah. That can be dangerous,
Yeah.
especially when it's more illusion than reality.
Right.
Those rose-colored glasses can be tough to take off. Okay, Venus-Neptune, got it. What else?
Mars-Uranus aspects.
Mars-Uranus. That's got to be electric.
Yeah, he describes them as creating electrifying instant attraction.
Instant attraction, like love at first sight.
Yeah, it's often, short-lived,
Okay.
but incredibly intense.
So it's like a firework. It explodes with passion, but then it fizzles out quickly.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. And then there's that ghost effect we talked about earlier. The people who stay with you even after they're gone. Does Lorenzo connect that to any of these aspect patterns?
Yeah, he suggests that people with strong Neptune or 12th house influence, especially within these magnetic aspect patterns,
Okay.
often have this lingering effect on others, making them, unforgettable even years after they're gone.
It's like they leave a permanent mark on your soul.
Right. Yeah, a memory that resurfaces
In dreams.
in dreams.
In moments of quiet reflection. You never quite forget them.
Right. And it's not just about, the initial attraction, but the lasting impact that they have on, on others.
It's like they become a part of your story.
Right.
Even if they're not physically present anymore.
Right. And Lorenzo's point is, your chart isn't just a personality map. It's an energy field.
Oh, I like that. It's not just about who you are on paper. It's about the energy you radiate. And that energy, it shapes how people experience you.
Right. Especially in the realm of attraction.
It's like we're all sending out these signals, these vibes,
Right.
and other people are picking up on them, whether they're aware of it or not.
Exactly.
And those signals, they're influencing how people perceive us, how they relate to us,
Right.
and how deeply they're drawn to us.
Right. And that brings us back to Lorenzo's central message,
Which is,
understanding your own chart is essential to understanding your magnetic power and how to, wield it effectively.
So knowing your astrological blueprint can help you navigate the complexities of attraction.
Right.
Set healthy boundaries.
Right.
And ultimately attract the kind of relationships that are aligned with your highest good.
Exactly. But, Lorenzo, he's not all sunshine and roses.
Oh, right. He's not afraid to get real. He talks about the potential downsides of magnetism too, right?
Oh.
Like attracting the wrong kind of attention, getting caught up in unhealthy dynamics.
He's very clear that being too magnetic,
Mm-hmm.
can have its downsides.
Right.
You can attract, obsession, stalking, toxic power struggles,
Right.
even what he calls psychic energy attacks.
Okay, that sounds intense.
Yeah.
So are there any specific placements or aspects that he warns about, like red flags to watch out for?
Yeah, for instance, he mentions Pluto conjunct Venus
Mm-hmm.
as a placement that can sometimes attract possessive partners.
Oh, yeah, those who want to own you, control you. Not good.
Right, exactly.
What else?
He also points to Lilith in the 1st or 8th house
Oh.
as a potential, red flag.
Lilith in the 1st or 8th. Okay, so that raw, untamed energy can sometimes attract the wrong kind of attention.
Yeah, he suggests that people with these placements might find that others project their darkest desires onto them.
It's like they become a magnet for unhealthy obsessions.
Right.
That's heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so Pluto conjunct Venus, Lilith in the 1st or 8th.
Mm-hmm.
Any other red flags?
He includes Neptune square Venus as another, potentially problematic aspect.
Neptune square Venus.
Yeah, suggesting that it can lead people to fall in love with an illusion of you.
Oh, yeah. Falling in love with the idea of someone.
Right.
Rather than who they actually are.
Yeah.
That's a recipe for disappointment.
Right.
Heartbreak.
Right.
Okay, so Neptune square Venus, noted. What else?
And finally, he mentions Pluto in the 7th house as a placement that often brings, intense, transformative, and sometimes destructive relationships.
Pluto in the 7th house, the house of partnerships. So it's like they attract partners who challenge them to the core, force them to confront their shadow selves.
Exactly.
Okay, so Lorenzo's painting a pretty complex picture of sexual magnetism here.
Yeah, he is.
He's acknowledging both its power and its potential pitfalls, but he doesn't just leave us with warnings.
Right.
He gives us this really important insight.
Okay.
The most magnetically attractive people, they must learn how to control their own energy.
Okay.
Or risk attracting the wrong people.
Right. It's about mastering your magnetism, not letting it master you.
Exactly. Okay, this is also fascinating, but I gotta ask, does Lorenzo ever address the issue of longevity and attraction?
Yeah.
Why do some people stay magnetically attractive their whole lives,
Mm-hmm.
while others, their allure seems to fade over time?
Yeah, he does touch on that.
Okay, good. Because I've always wondered about that. What's the secret sauce? What keeps those sparks flying?
Well, he highlights specific placements and aspects that contribute to to this enduring appeal. Like, for instance, he suggests that that people with Mars-Pluto aspects actually become more sexually powerful with age.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like their energy, it intensifies over time.
It's like their magnetism matures?
It's like a fine wine.
Right.
It gets deeper, richer, more complex.
Right. It's not just about, youthful vitality.
Right.
There's this different kind of magnetism that comes with age
Mm-hmm.
and experience and the wisdom that comes with,
It's that silver fox effect.
Yeah.
They've got that experience, that confidence that just draws you in.
Yeah. And he, what else? Oh, he points to Venus-Saturn aspects as contributing to lasting beauty and just, a graceful aging process.
Venus, Saturn.
Yeah.
Okay. So with these aspects, they age gracefully. Their beauty transcends time.
Right.
It's like they have this timeless quality about them.
Right. They possess this, a certain elegance and refinement that only gets better with time.
It's like they radiate classic beauty.
Right.
It never goes out of style.
Exactly.
Okay, Mars, Pluto, Venus, Saturn, any other placements that contribute to that ageless magnetism? Well, he couldn't leave out Uranus.
Of course not. Uranus, the planet of rebellion, innovation, and all things unexpected.
Right. He suggests that the Uranus influence, helps people kind of reinvent themselves and remain unpredictable.
Okay, so they keep people guessing. They're always evolving, always surprising.
Yeah.
That'll keep you on your toes for sure.
Right. And then finally, he brings up 12th house activation.
Ah, the 12th house again, always full of mysteries.
Yeah, suggesting that, as people with these placements age, their energy just becomes, more mystical and wise.
Okay, so their magnetism transcends the physical realm.
Right.
It becomes more about their soul, their wisdom, their connection to something greater.
Exactly.
I love that. It's like their magnetism becomes almost ethereal.
Right.
It's not just about their looks or their personality anymore. It's about their essence,
Right.
their aura.
Right.
It's like they become a beacon of light.
And this leads Lorenzo to his kind of revolutionary concept that attraction isn't about, youth. It's about mastering your energy over time.
It's about cultivating that inner magnetism,
Right.
refining it,
Right.
and channeling it in a way that's both powerful and authentic.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, so Lorenzo's not just giving us a bunch of astrological jargon here.
No, he's not.
He's giving us a whole new way of thinking about attraction.
Right.
And a roadmap for how to cultivate that magnetism within ourselves.
Right. And Lorenzo, being Lorenzo, he doesn't offer some watered down conclusion.
Lorenzo's not about that watered down life.
No, he states that that sexual magnetism, it's not just about physical beauty or having a few hot placements, in your chart.
Okay, so it's more than just good looks and lucky placements.
Right. It's about four key elements.
Key elements. Okay, I'm all ears. Lay it on me, Lorenzo. What are these 4 elements of magnetism?
Okay. First, your energy frequency.
Energy frequency.
Which is heavily influenced by Pluto.
Okay.
Neptune in the 12th house.
So it's about the vibe you put out there,
Yeah.
the energy you radiate on a subconscious level.
Exactly.
Okay, that's element number 1.
Right.
What's number 2?
Second is your aspect patterns.
Aspect patterns.
Specifically, those triangles of power and the forbidden love aspects that we've talked about.
Okay, so how those planets are interacting with each other in your chart,
Right.
and the kind of magnetic dynamics they create.
Exactly.
All right, that's 2. What's the third element?
Third is your subconscious impact.
Subconscious impact. Okay, what does that mean?
Which is ruled by Lilith, Neptune, Pluto, and again, that mysterious 12th house.
So it's about the ways in which we influence others without even realizing it.
Exactly.
Our unseen power.
Right.
Okay, 3 down, 1 to go. What's the final element of magnetism?
And finally, the fourth element is your ability to control your magnetism.
To control it.
Yeah, avoiding, obsession and energy vampires and toxic attraction.
So it's not just about having magnetism, it's about understanding it, managing it,
Right.
and directing it in a way that serves you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Master your magnetism, don't let it master you. That's good stuff. So Lorenzo's saying that attraction isn't just some random, chaotic thing.
No.
There's an order to it. There's a structure.
Right.
It's like we're not just individuals,
But
we're walking energy fields.
Yeah.
And those energy fields, they're interacting with each other all the time.
Yeah, and creating all these different patterns of attraction.
Exactly. And Lorenzo's really emphasizing that this energy, it's not always positive,
Right. He's got that whole section on, the dangers of being too magnetic.
Right. It's like anything powerful.
Right.
Magnetism can be used for good or for bad.
Right.
So it's important to be aware of those potential pitfalls.
Right. Like attracting the wrong kind of attention, getting caught up in obsessive dynamics,
Right.
even, becoming a target for those energy vampires.
These energy vampires, they're sneaky.
Yeah.
They can really drain you if you're not careful.
Yeah, and he gives some really, really good advice on how to protect yourself,
Oh, yeah.
from those who might try to take advantage.
Okay, I'm listening. What kind of advice does he give?
Well, he talks a lot about, the importance of setting clear boundaries.
Boundaries, yes. Gotta have those boundaries.
Absolutely. And recognizing red flags.
Okay, so knowing what to look out for.
Right. Yeah. And being mindful of, the energy that you're that you're putting out into the world.
So it's not just about protecting yourself from negative energy.
Right.
It's also about cultivating positive energy, making sure you're attracting the kind of people you want in your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what I really appreciate about Lorenzo's perspective is that he's not, he's not fatalistic about this stuff.
Oh.
No, he doesn't just say, here's your birth chart, this is your magnetic destiny. He actually suggests that we can cultivate and refine our magnetism.
Okay, so it's not just something we're born with.
Yeah.
It's something we can actually work with and develop over time.
Right. He talks about how, understanding our birth charts can give us those valuable insights into our unique, magnetic strengths and weaknesses.
So, like, if you've got a strong Pluto placement,
Right.
you might naturally exude power and intensity.
Right.
But you might also need to be careful about becoming too controlling.
Right, exactly.
Or possessive.
Right.
Okay, and what about Neptune? What does he say about strong Neptune placements?
Well, he says, if you've got a prominent Neptune influence, you might have that dreamy, ethereal quality that draws people in.
Right, but there's a shadow side to that too.
Right. You might need to be careful about attracting those who are looking for an idealized fantasy rather than the real you.
Exactly. It's about knowing your own energy, your own patterns,
Right.
and learning how to use them consciously, both to attract what you want
Right.
and to protect yourself from what you don't want.
Right, exactly. And what I find really really inspiring is that Lorenzo suggests that our magnetism can actually, evolve and deepen as we age. It's not something that just fades away with time.
Oh, I love that. It's like we get better with age.
Right. It can become even more potent, and multifaceted.
So it's not just about youthful beauty.
Right.
It's about something deeper, something that develops over time.
Right. He gives some fantastic examples, like people with those Mars-Pluto aspects might find that their sexual energy actually intensifies as they get older.
Oh, really? So those Mars-Pluto types, they just keep getting hotter with age.
Right. Or those with Venus-Saturn aspects might age, gracefully. Their beauty, becoming even more refined.
So it's like they have this inner beauty that shines through, and it just gets stronger as they get older.
Right. Yeah.
I like that. It gives me hope. All right. So we've got Mars-Pluto getting hotter with age. We've got Venus-Saturn radiating that classic timeless beauty. Any other examples of how our magnetism can evolve as we get older?
Well, he talks about Uranus.
Ah, yes. Uranus, the planet of change and reinvention.
Right. He suggests that Uranus influence helps people, to reinvent themselves and remain unpredictable.
So they don't get stuck in a rut. They keep things interesting.
Right.
That's definitely attractive. Who wants to be with someone who's predictable and boring?
Right. And finally, he brings up 12th house activation.
Okay, the 12th house. Back to the subconscious realm.
Right. Yeah. Suggesting that as people with these placements, age, their energy just becomes more mystical, more wise.
So it's like they become these wise, mystical beings.
Right.
Their magnetism takes on a whole other dimension.
Right. And this leads Lorenzo to his kind of revolutionary concept that, attraction isn't about youth. It's about mastering your energy over time.
Mastering your energy over time. That's a powerful concept.
Yeah.
So it's not about trying to look young or act young.
Right.
It's about cultivating your inner energy, your inner light.
Right.
And letting that shine through.
Right, exactly. It's about becoming the most authentic, the most powerful version of yourself.
Yeah.
And letting that attract the right people into your life.
This has been amazing, really eye-opening. Lorenzo's given us a lot to think about.
Oh, yeah.
A lot to digest.
It's a lot to digest. His whole perspective on attraction, it's so much deeper, so much more nuanced than what we usually hear.
Right. It's not just about those superficial things.
Right.
It's about energy. It's about the subconscious.
Right.
It's about those invisible forces that are constantly at play.
Yeah, and it's about, taking control of those forces. Not letting them control us.
Exactly. Master your energy and you master your destiny.
I think that's a great place to leave it. Lorenzo's work is really about empowering us to understand these forces that shape our relationships and to make conscious choices, about who we allow into our lives.
And to remember that we have more power than we realize, we can create the kind of love we want.
We can, yeah. We can cultivate it. We can refine it.
We can become magnets for the right kind of energy.
Yeah, we can.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty energized after this deep dive.
Me too.
Like, I'm ready to go out there and own my magnetic power.
Yeah, let that light shine.
I want to thank you for joining me on this this deep dive. It's been really, really insightful, and I hope our listeners,
Take Lorenzo's message to heart,
Yeah.
and start exploring those hidden forces within themselves.
And to remember, attraction is an energy game. Master your energy, and you master the game.
That's it. That's the key.